Hello and welcome to Football League World TV. This is the EFL betting show. My name is Sam Rourke and I'm delighted to be joined by Billy and Ned from Football League World. Billy, how are we this morning?
I'm doing well, thank you. Hoping to do a little better than my predictions from last week.
Fingers crossed. Ned, how are you getting on?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. Sort of similar to Billy. I haven't had the best track record with betting on the EFL this season, but hopefully today will change that.
Yeah, let's hope so. For everyone watching this show, basically we do a banker, we do an accumulator, we do a value bet and also a wild card bet. So please do keep tabs on what we say during this show. We'll hopefully win you some pennies this weekend. We do also want to hear from you on whatever platform you're watching. So do drop a comment into the comment section on Facebook, Twitter or YouTube, and we will get them up during this live show. But let's start off with the banker. So the banker bet is the bet that we feel simply will not lose. So Billy, we'll come to you first. What is your banker bet in the EFL this weekend?
I had to wait to the 92nd minute for my banker to come in last week. So I'm hoping that this could be a little clearer this time out. But I've gone for Ipswich and Accrington, both teams to score. No team has scored more goals per game than Ipswich. Obviously, a brilliant win midweek. Won 6-0. Just looked absolutely firing, didn't they? They really sort of imposed themselves, and it seems that they're turning the corner. But then Accrington conceded the most in the division, but they've also got this sort of the attacking threat of Bishop and Charles, who have both attracted championship interest in the summer. I think the fact that within the last 4 games, Ipswich have won 6-0 and lost 5-2 just shows that anything really could happen at the moment. And yeah, I think at 7-10, it's a good bet.
There we go. Ipswich is the banker from Billy this weekend in the EFL. Ned, let's get your banker in the EFL this weekend.
Sure thing. Mine's a little sort of reactive to some of the news that came out this morning. I was already sort of looking at Newport and Scunthorpe, but now it looks like Michael Flynn's set for that's set to be his last game in charge, and I just feel like that's going to really lift his team. So I've just got Newport to beat Scunthorpe. Scunthorpe have been pretty atrocious on the road this season, pretty poor in general, and I just think that this is one of those games where that whole squad you'd think is really going to be playing, sort of giving one last hurrah. So I can't really see any way that they don't come away with a win here.
There we go. Right, my banker this weekend is MK Dons to beat Doncaster at the Keep Moat Stadium. MK Dons have been in great form of late, scoring hatfuls of goals in League One. They are the current highest scorers in League One right now. As for Doncaster, they've had a very shoddy start to the season in League One. Richie Wellens just can't seem to get it right so far at Donny. They're rock bottom of the table, 6 points from safety. I just think the firepower that MK have got with the likes of Scott Twine in the form he's in, Mo Isa, Troy Parrott, and Matt O'Reilly behind them in midfield. There's lots of ammunition there that I feel could really hurt Doncaster on Saturday. They're currently priced at 5-6, which I thought was actually not a bad price last night on Sky Bet. So one that I think is the banker in the EFL this weekend. Right, let's touch on our accumulators next. As I've already mentioned in this show, please do send in your best bets in the EFL this weekend. What accumulators are you going to be playing this weekend? What bankers have you got? And are there any wild cards you think could happen this weekend? Of course, please do gamble responsibly, 18 and over. Right, Billy, let's get your accumulator in the EFL this weekend.
Well, I've started with QPR to beat Preston. I know Preston have actually sort of turned a corner recently, but in my head, QPR are a top 6 side, and I think that the win against Birmingham during the week will sort of help them come back together after 3 narrow 2-1 defeats. Quite difficult to judge them from that because obviously it was West Brom, Bournemouth, and then a late goal from Bristol City that sort of helped them fall to defeat there. I think QPR, what they've got going forward is brilliant. The experience of Charlie Austin, the power, Lyndon Dykes, and obviously he's found that goal scoring touch this year, bringing on someone like Andre Gray as well from the bench, adding that extra dimension. Midfield as well, sort of the likes of Ilias Chair and Willock as well, sort of feeding in those types of forwards. You've also got Johansson behind them, that's been an excellent addition, and then the back line as well, it's full of talent with Rob Dickey. Johan Barbe as well has been quite impressive for me, and the fullbacks as well provide a threat. So they're a well-rounded side that I think will be thereabouts come the end of the season, and I think they'll be able to squeeze a win past Preston. And then the second one I've got, Sunderland to beat Portsmouth. Sunderland have looked excellent so far. Their fourth season in League One, and could it be the year that they finally do it? It's certainly looking that way at the moment. Goals coming from everywhere. I think Luke O'Nien and Bailey Wright got on the score sheet the other night. Likes of Carl Winchester and Ross Stewart scoring for fun at the moment as well. They're a team that there's a lot of competition for places as well. I think Lee Johnson has quite a job in his hands trying to keep everyone happy, because they're all very good players at League One level. And when you look at their bench, you're thinking, how are some of these players not playing? And when you look at Portsmouth, without a win in 7, started off really well, not conceding their first 4, but something's gone wrong there. And even if you look back to their pre-season, they did really well to compete against Championship clubs, but something's not gone quite right there. And I think Sunderland to win, that's another, not safe bet, but another good one at the price, 11-8, that one. And Leyton Orient as well, they've been brilliant. I've got them down for another win. Tough fixture list so far, but they're second, looking very strong going forwards. So the wingers they've got in Drinnan and Archibald, and then Satoria as well up top with Harry Smith. It's looking a very good side, and under Kenny Jackett, I've been very impressed with them. Last one, I've got Middlesbrough to beat Hull, and I don't think I would have been saying that if they hadn't have put such convincing display against Sheffield United. Yeah, and it was perhaps didn't satisfy the expected goals gurus out there, because I think it was only 0.41 or something around that mark. But watching it was an excellent display from them, and I think even Slavisa Jukanovic had admitted that Middlesbrough were much better on the night. And I think they'll continue that against a Hull side who've scored 2 in their last 9. And after 4 goals in their first game, it seems something's gone wrong there. They do have Honeyman coming back, which will give them sort of that creative edge. But at the moment, I can't see anything other than a Middlesbrough win. And that's my 4 at just over 40-1.
Just over 40-1. Very, very nice. Do get involved in that bet if you feel like it's going to come in this weekend. Of course, gamble responsibly, 18 and over. Ned, let's get your accumulator in the EFL this weekend.
Absolutely. Well, I'm starting with Fulham against Coventry. Fulham back to winning ways against Swansea midweek. They before that, I think they had something like 47 shots to in their last 2 games, and just hadn't been able to force the ball in the net really. And Mitrovic just looked unplayable in midweek, and against a Coventry side that would be looking to bounce back, but whose confidence is likely to be a bit dented. I just back them to come out of that one. Bolton really should have too much for a Shrewsbury side that have caused teams problems, but for me, I can only really see the Trotters winning. And as you said in your banker, MK Dons against a Doncaster side that have probably been one of the worst teams in the EFL this season. That seems an near cert. And then Orient versus Port Vale, or for all the reasons Billy made there, as well as the fact I think Port Vale have struggled at home. I think it's 1 win in 4 for them, and Orient have just looked. I think I questioned whether they had the firepower early in the season, and I've been proven wrong there. And I think that they're going to win again, and just to really boost their promotion hopes further. And then I'm backing Wickham as well to make it 2 wins against a Morecambe side that, I guess overachieved in those early weeks of the season a little, and have come back down to earth a bit now. So that's Fulham, Bolton, MK Dons, Orient, and Wickham at 32.9 1-1.
There we go, fivefold there, 32.1 to 1. Not a bad odds at all for that. I've got a treble for my accumulator this weekend in the EFL. I've gone for my banker, MK Dons, for all the reasons I've already mentioned. QPR as well are in my treble. I do think they'll get the better of Preston. Billy's touched on the likes of Lyndon Dykes, Charlie Austin, Willock, Elias Chair, and the form they're in. And you never really know what Preston team are going to turn up. They've drawn their last 5 games. I just can't see him getting a result at the Kiyan Prince. I think QPR will prove too strong. And my final team in that treble is Exeter to beat Walsall at home. The Matty Taylor derby. Both teams are obviously managed by Matthew Taylor. Exeter have started to get the wheels in motion, I think, in recent weeks. We've seen the likes of Sam Nombi, Matt Jay, and Giovanni Brown up front really proving quite fruitful for the Grecians. And I do think they'll get the better of Walsall, who have struggled really in these early stages in League Two. It's not the biggest price treble in the world. It's 6 to 1, but I think there are 3 teams there that I really could see picking up a result this weekend. Right, let's touch on our value bet next. So our value bet is a selection whereby we think the price has been it's pretty good really by the bookmakers. It's a bet we feel could come in at what is quite a good price. So Billy, we'll come to you first.
I've gone against what Ned was saying there with Wycombe versus Morecambe, because I've seen Morecambe at 9 to 2 this morning. And I thought that's a very good price for a team that have been in form. I think Wycombe, I have to give them credit. They're a very tough side to break down. Obviously, fresh off the Championship relegation, still confident because they did have a good season and did end the campaign quite strongly. And they have taken that in. But at 9 to 2, a Morecambe side who have been very impressive to me since they've come up, 7 points from their last 3, beating a team like Lincoln, who may be struggling at the moment, but there is still a side that possess a lot of sort of third-tier talent in there. And I think with Cole Stockton in the side just scoring goals, he's proven to be a little bit like the Mitrovic of League One in the way that he's scoring for fun, and when he's presented with an opportunity, he never really turns it down. So yeah, 9 to 2, I think Morecambe do have a fair shout of causing problems at Adams Park.
Yeah, I mean, Morecambe certainly haven't disgraced themselves in League One so far. Really impressive from the Shrimpers so far. And of course, like you say, Cole Stockton in superb form. Ned, what is your value bet in the EFL this weekend? You're on mute, mate.
Sorry about that. Mine's a little bit narrower than Billy's, but it's honestly, but I've got West Brom and Stoke, both teams to score. It's a 4 to 5, and I just think I can't see an eventuality where it doesn't come in. So I'm surprised you can get that much value out of it. You know, both teams have had both teams scoring 6 of their 10 games this season. It's a Friday night clash under the lights, and I think that always brings a sort of a bit of extra excitement. And at the end of a busy week, it's going to be a high intensity game, and I think that's going to be more chances. 2 teams that have been high scorers in the Championship this season. I think at 4 to 5, if you might have to put a little bit on, but you can definitely get a fair bit back, because for me that's excellent value.
There we go. West Brom and Stoke, both teams to score. That game is tonight, of course. 4 to 5 could be worth a punt. My value bet this weekend is Bristol City to beat Peterborough away from home. Bristol City are 9 to 5, which I thought was pretty good value. Bristol City are 4th in the Championship away form table. They are better on the road rather than at Ashton Gate. And I think, again, with Peterborough, you don't really know what Peterborough team are going to turn up. But I think if Bristol City really assert themselves on the game, they should have the quality within their ranks to get the better of Posh in this one. And I think at 9 to 5, it could be worth a little tickle. Right, let's touch on our wild card next. As ever, if you are watching this show, please do send in your comments. We want to hear your best bets in the EFL this weekend. Right, Billy, let's get your wild card this weekend.
Gone for a little bit of a different one this week. I've gone for 3 goal scorers based on pretty much form and the eventual odds that I found for it. And I've got Mitrovic, Sporar and Adebayo all to score. I think Mitrovic obviously what he done during the week, he's so clinical. I think he was at evens, which to me is still crazy because of how clinical he is in front of goal and the chances that Fulham create for him. I think against the Coventry side that I found that Luton sort of found a weakness with sort of their playing in behind and sort of reacting to second balls. And if Fulham are able to carve out as many chances as they have been in recent weeks, then there's no reason why Mitrovic shouldn't have at least a couple. I think with Sporar as well, I've been really impressed with him playing against the whole side, lacking in confidence. Conceding goals hasn't perhaps been their weakness so far, but they still have conceded a few too many goals. Obviously, he's a player that's found the net already, not one of Warnock's men that is sort of criticised for not adapting to the Championship, because he's made a very good start. And yeah, he's a clinical finisher as proven already. And yeah, I can see him scoring. And the last one, Adebayo, he squandered a few chances against Bournemouth, played brilliantly in Luton's last home games against Swansea and against Coventry. Also, a little bit like Mitrovic, Luton creating a lot of opportunities at home at the moment. And given the opportunity, Adebayo should hopefully, for my sake, score at least one.
There we go. What price is that, Billy?
That is all at 18.8 to 1.
That sounds like a good bet to me. Ned, let's get your wild cards in EFL this weekend.
Mine is going a little bit against one of the predictions Billy made earlier. I've picked the Portsmouth-Sunderland game, but I've got a funny feeling that it's going to be a 2-2 draw. I feel like Sunderland maybe on the back of a 5-0 win and like some great form, they may be a little bit overconfident against a Portsmouth side that have obviously struggled, but like as Danny Cowley said in his pre-match press conference, the expectation is all on Sunderland at the moment, and that might allow Portsmouth to sort of, the pressure to be off and then to play some good football. They've been a part of a few 2-2 draws this season. I think this could be another one. And so that's at 14 to 1 at a 2-2 draw. And if you're feeling extra fruity, then you throw in Ross Stewart as a first or last goal scorer for 45 to 1. I think that could happen. Stewart looks in pretty inevitable form at the moment, and I just feel this could be the game where we see Danny Cowley's Portsmouth really cause a few problems.
That is some incredibly juicy odds right there, Ned. That's what we like to see in our wildcard bets on FLW TV. My wildcard bet involves one of the players that you suggested, Billy, Elijah Adebayo, to score a brace against Huddersfield Town is 12 to 1. Sorry, Adebayo does like a brace. I believe he scored 2 this season so far. Obviously, scored 2 against. Last time out for Luton. I just think, given the amount of chances that Luton have been creating of late, and Adebayo does tend to be on the end of most of them chances, I think there's a very high chance he could well score a brace against Huddersfield Town. I really do like what the 23-year-old has been doing so far this season. I like what he kind of possesses in terms of his qualities as a striker. And I just think at 12 to 1 against a Huddersfield defence that isn't necessarily the most solid in the Championship. I think there's a real chance of that. And at 12 to 1, I think it, again, could be worth a little go. Right. Well, that concludes all of our bets in the EFL this weekend. Billy, Ned, thanks very much for joining me this morning. For all those watching, we wish you all the best in your betting this weekend in EFL. Of course, please do gamble responsibly for 18 plus and over. But that draws an end to this week's episode of the EFL Betting Show, and we'll catch you next week.